Third is Animal Kingdom, which is the newest of all the 4 parks. It's forever growing. It's just like a big animal park with a few rides scattered around. It's based on nature and conservation, so there's a lot of learning to do there for the kids, which is great. Their focal point is the Tree of Life. It looks like a tree from distance, but as you get further up, the whole 360 of it has got animals carved into the trunk of the tree, which is quite spectacular. Anything from little bugs to lions and stuff, so it is worth getting a look at that. So the rides to look at for this one are Everest, which is the most expensive roller coaster that is at Disney. The Cali River Rapids, which is a very short river ride, but you get drenched, so get prepared to be wet. You've got the Kilimanjaro Safari, which is like a jeep ride going through the plains of the Kilimanjaro, seeing lots of animals. You do have to pick what time of day to go on that though. Obviously if it's midday you're not going to see a lot because of how hot it is, so bear that in mind when you book your fast passes. And then they've got like a dinosaur kind of section where you've got a dinosaur ride where you have to go back in time to retrieve something and you get chased by a dinosaur. Quite fun. And then like a little mini roller coaster called Primeval Whirl. Not to my taste, but it's a good little roller coaster. A couple of shows to look out for when you're there as well. You've got the Lion King show. It's Tough to Be a Bug, which is based on A Bug's Life, which is like a 3D sort of ride, well, show. And then the Finding Nemo musical as well, which is also good. And there's lots of wildlife trails around the park as well. You've got the chimpanzee like village sort of thing, which is bang in the centre of the Animal Kingdom, where they're just swinging around their enclosure. And there's a couple of treks that you can do as well, where you can see the tigers, and there's a bird like sanctuary sort of thing as well, where they're flying around your head, which is terrifying. That's pretty good as well. So if you're a big fan of the movie Avatar, the actual scenery and stuff is breathtaking. It was really good. Bit annoying for us because we couldn't get fast passes for them, so we had an idea of getting to the park at rope drop, getting in there. So we ran straight to Pandora to get the fast passes, and they were both closed. Both rides there, they were both closed, so we never got to ride them that day. But 2 rides are Flights of Passage, which is the one that everyone wants to get on, so that's the one where you need to try and get your fast passes for, and then the Navi River Journey, which is also the other ride there. We didn't walk all the way around Pandora because a lot of it was closed when we were there, but I believe those are just the only rides that are in there. There is some nighttime entertainment as well. They've got like a lake sort of thing in the middle, and you can do Rivers of Light, which I think is a cruise. You've got the Tree of Light Nighttime Awakenings, which is a projection obviously on the Tree of Life. The Harambe Wildlife Party, and the Discovery Island Carnival. So lots to do in Animal Kingdom. As I say, it's all about, well, your animals, which is what it suggests, but it is a fun day out. Not so much ride heavy, but more getting involved with like animals and things, which is always good. So that's the Animal Kingdom. So now on to the final one, and my favourite. Hollywood Studios, previously MGM Studios. A lot of work going on at Hollywood Studios at the moment, so there's not a lot open. It's very crowded, and it's very high queue volumes because of there's so little there. So let's talk about the construction first of all. The car parks are a bit one-way kind of system at the moment because they're building Star Wars Land, which is moving into the car park, but they are building extra car park, which makes it a bit of a nightmare to get in when you first get there because of the backup of traffic. That's not expected to late 2019. Well, that's what they're saying. The one in California is supposed to open first, so once that's open we'll have a better idea of when the Florida one will. I can't see it in 2019, I think it will be in 2020, but we'll see. And the other land which is opening this year on the 30th of June is Toy Story Land. So if you've never been to Hollywood Studios before, they've got a little section called Pixar Place, which just has Toy Story Mania, and across from there the Woody and Buzz and Jessie, I think, character meet. But now it's all been moved to the back, and you've got a big land specifically Toy Story, which is based on Andy's back garden. So you're shrunk down to a mini version, so the toys are massive. You've got a big slinky dog ride, it's going to be ace. So that opens on the 30th of June. Also with the construction, they closed also Great Movie Ride last year. We were lucky enough to get on it before it closed, and it's been replaced by Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Don't know a lot about it, just know it's going to be the same sort of thing as the Great Movie Ride, obviously, but with Mickey and Minnie. But that's expected mid next year. No fixed date, just says mid 2019. So what can you do in Hollywood Studios at the moment? You've got your Tower of Terror, which is my absolute favourite ride. Rock and Roller Coaster, which is it's like the French version of Space Mountain. So it's a roller coaster in the dark, but with Aerosmith. You've got Star Tours, which is the Star Wars simulator. Toy Story Mania, which I've already mentioned. Muppets 3D, which is actually 4D, Muppets 4D, like a show. And the other show, which is Indiana Jones, which you can get fast passes for all of those. There's other little bits you can do around Hollywood Studios, but those are the main factors that people head to. And there's some restaurants scattered about, the Sci-Fi Diner, Abraham Darby, and the Primetime Cafe as well. One show that they've got the Star Wars show, which is in front of the Chinese theatre on the evening. That's the fireworks and a projection show. And just before that, I think it is just before that, you've got Fantasmic. That finishes, the last one of those finishes just as that starts, and so the crowds can get quite heavy for that. But Fantasmic is like the Disney show. It's in its own little arena. Queues get quite big for that, and people tend to queue for that like an hour before the actual show time. But you can get fast passes for that as well, and you can also get a dinner pass. So I think it's Abraham Darby's. It's about $90, something like that. But you get a VIP section in the show as well, so you don't have to queue for it. So that is worth it. Top tip for the Star Wars fireworks. We thought we'll stand at the back. You can still see Man's Chinese Theatre. You'll be fine. You can't see anything. You've got to get right down the front because the fireworks go off to the left and to the right, and there's also projection to the left and to the right. So if you want a proper view, you need to get to the front of that to see that. Queue times are high for all the rides at the moment. Whether this changes when Toy Story Land opens, I kind of expect it, but it might just mean it gets busier. So fast passes are a must for those. Hollywood Studios, which we will come on to in a different section for fast passes, have a tiered system. So you can't just get 3 fast passes for all of the top rides. And then finally, in Hollywood Studios with the Star Wars theming, you've got Jedi training, which is for the kids between 4 and 12. They dress them up as Jedis, give them a lightsaber, and you get to fight the Darth Vaders and Kylo Rens, and I think Darth Maul is one of them as well. So you have to register for that at the start of the day, because it does get to capacity quite quickly. And that's all we have really for Hollywood Studios. Okay, so that's your theme parks. Next we'll go into the 2 water parks. We won't dwell too much on these. You've got your two water parks. You've got Blizzard Beach, which is your ice theming. They've got a lot of frozen stuff around there now, incorporated into the park. That's the one with the biggest drop slide in Florida. I don't know whether that is now surpassed with stuff at Volcano Bay. I haven't checked that, but when we went, it was the tallest drop slide there. I've never been on it, and I never will. Just walking up those steps to get to the top terrifies me. And then the other one is Typhoon Lagoon, which is based on like your Caribbean theme, and it's got the bigger wave pool than Blizzard Beach. With both of the parks, you can hire cabanas and reserve beds and loungers, like any other water park. We feel Typhoon Lagoon is busier of the two. I don't know whether it's because it's got slightly better water rides, water slides, and the fact that the wave pool is bigger. That has a lot of appeal. And Typhoon Lagoon also has a surf school that you can do. I think that's on before the park opens though, so you'd have to check that. With both the parks, you can't take in your own snorkels and you can't take in inflatables. They don't allow those. Not really much else you can say about those two parks really. Is if you stay on Disney property, you have to, and you haven't got a car, you have to get a bus to Disney Springs to get to the water parks. Car parking is free at the water parks, and Blizzard Beach is close to the Winter Summerland mini golf. So that's all parks. So let's talk about a bit of the tech that you can get to help you with your Disney experience. And funny enough, that's what it's called, My Disney Experience. You can get an app to download onto your phone, which is Android and iPhone friendly. And also, if you log into the Walt Disney World website, it's the same thing, but just on the website itself. So this shows you all your park hours, the waiting times, any menus you want for the restaurants. You can actually make reservations for your restaurants and book your fast passes. Now this is, with the fast passes as well, it also gives you a reminder, say your fast pass is due. And with the fast passes, it's great because once you've used 3 of them, you can then book another one, but we'll come into that in a minute. You're probably thinking, well, if I've got it on my phone, how can I use it? It's run by Wi-Fi, obviously, if you are in parks, and all the parks have Wi-Fi. And once you're in one, it remembers you on your phone, so you'll be able to use that constantly throughout there. So that's the Disney Experience app. So from the app, it brings you onto the fast passes. So as I say, you can book fast passes through the app, and it is worth doing that because you can only schedule 3 fast passes at a time. But it doesn't matter which park, so you can have one in each park if you wanted to. But until that 3rd one has been used, you can't book any more. So it is worth trying to get them bulked together. So once you've got them all done, you can then start adding an additional one on each time. You can only add one more after that, and then once you've used that, another one, and so forth. You can't use the 3 and then add another 3. It's one until the 2nd day. If you're stopping off-site, you can book your fast passes 30 days in advance. So if you're in the UK, you count 30 days till the first time you're in the park. So if you're going to Magic Kingdom first, you can book that 30 days at midday UK time. If you're staying on-site, it's 60 days, but if you are staying for the duration of your holiday on Disney property, you can do it all in one go, which is another benefit of staying on the hotels. So as I said, with the fast passes, Epcot, Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom have got a tiered system. I'll put the image up there of the different tiered systems that you can choose from. So you've got tier 1 where you can choose 1 fast pass, and then tier 2 where you can choose 2. Tier 1 is usually your premium, and tier 2 is your lower end rides, what they class as. So it is worth taking a look at that before you choose your fast pass. And fast passes are free with your admission ticket, so you don't have to pay extra for this. So it is worth having a look at what ride you want to go on, and book, planning what fast passes you want for that park before you book them. This will come on to now, obviously if you're booking your tickets and you're staying on site, you get a magic band. If you're staying off site, you will just get a ticket. This does not mean you cannot get a magic band. You can still buy a magic band, and you can transfer your ticket onto that. It just makes it easy when you walk around the park. You haven't got to keep getting your tickets out of your pockets. You just scan into the park when you get there, and you can also use it for your photo passes, and because all your fast passes will be linked to that as well. You can scan into the rides easier as when you go in. So what else does it use for? So if you're staying on resort, your magic band is your key, so don't lose it, else you won't get into your room. As I say, you can check into the fast pass entrances. You can connect your Disney photo pass to that as well. So all your images when you go around the parks, your ride photos, and any of the photo opportunities that you have throughout the park, you can scan onto your band as well. If you add a card to your account, your Disney My Experience app, you can buy food and merchandise. I think it's up to a certain amount, so we'll check that if you are going to do that. And as I say, they are free if you stay on site. If you get the ones on site, they are the plain ones. They're an array of different colours, but they don't have any characters on there. You can swap them out if you want to. The different parks offer different styles of limited edition bands, different characters, and I think at either Epcot or Disney Springs you can customise them as well, and you can do it at Magic Kingdom. So you can get like a character on there, and then your name on the other side, and there's all the different designs that you can have, but they cost a little bit more. They do range from about $12 up to about $35. I think I had a Star Wars one, and it was a limited edition one, and it was about $33. But like I say, you pay for what you want, and that's the magic bands. So I did touch on it a little bit there with the magic bands. With the photos, if you buy your 14-day tickets in the UK, at the moment you get a memory maker included, and I think this is one of the better freebies that you get with the UK tickets. If you go over there to buy at the gate, you don't get this free, and I think it's about $135 additional. So Memory Maker is unlimited digital downloads of all your Disney photos. So if you've got all the photo opportunities where you've got your Disney photographer, you can have as many of those as you want. That includes all the parks, all the ride photos as well. You scan your band when you get off the ride. Every photo pass that you get when you have it, say if you want your photo taken in front of the castle and you want a professional version of that, they scan your magic band and it goes straight to your magic band, and then it's on your account, so you can check that on the Disney app as well. It's on there within the hour. The only drawback of that is they do expire within 45 days of when the original photo was taken, so you haven't got a lot of time to sit on them. When you get back home, download them onto your laptop, and then they're yours, and there's no charge for that. So you can get attraction photos, and there's also videos on some of the attractions like Terra. They do a little video that's also included on the photo pass. Select character dining photos if there's a photo pass photographer there, and you also get discount if you want them printed, included with the Memory Maker. And if you log onto your account on your laptop or your computer at home, you can edit the photos as well to have photo frames and stuff on there. and you can also order with a discount if you want them all on like a CD or something. So it is worth it if you're buying your tickets in the UK. Okay, so that brings me to the final area, which is Disney Springs. This has expanded and changed so much over the last couple of years, and they're still renovating it even as we speak. It used to be quite easy to get around. You park at one end, walk down a line, and you're at the end. But it's so vast now, and I get lost walking around there. There's so much shopping to do. There's loads of new restaurants and bars. There's a bowling alley there. There's a cinema there. There's lots of like concert halls. I think it's one of the jazz clubs there. They have House of Blues. They've got that there. They do some concerts and stuff. But there's lots of high-end shops and your high street stores as well. There's a Star Wars shop, a Marvel shop, Harley Davidson, the stacks of stuff there, and also the newly renovated Planet Hollywood, which is still there. There's 2 parking garages or garages, the Lime and Orange. I believe they're building a 3rd one. Saturdays and Sundays they get jam-packed, so bear that in mind, especially later on in the evening. Everyone just flocks there, so you've got your tourists on top of your locals, and so it just get very busy. And a lot of the walking places like Blaze Pizza and Deluxe Burger, the queues are at the door, and there's like an hour wait to get in them, so also bear that in mind. You've got your Lego store there as well, and the biggest Disney shop. And I can't express how big this shop is, and it's usually stuck to the rafters as well. It's so busy, but it's a good night out. I'd probably go early evening rather than later evening. As I say, that's how busy it gets. But as I say, there's loads to do there, and you could be there for a few hours if you wanted to. So that's Disney Springs. Okay, so finally, just a few tips and things to know section. So all parks, you've got a security bag check. If you've got a stroller or pushchair with lots of bags, my recommendation is give one person the bags and let the other person go through with the pushchair, because there's separate lanes for them, and they just let the strollers through. They do give it a quick check, but they let the strollers through, so let one person go through the bags. And another tip is try and minimise it to one bag, so just cram everything in the one bag. They took you through a metal detector as well, and when you go through the ticket bit with your magic bands, or if you've got tickets, you have to do a finger scan as well. So the first time you go to the park, remember what finger you use, because however simple that is, we forget every time, and we have to keep getting it reset, which is quite funny. One thing which is mainly with Disney, I think you can in Universal, but we'll touch on that when we talk about Universal in another video. Selfie sticks are not allowed, so beware of that, and some tripods. So if you've got like a little handheld thing for your camera, some of them aren't allowed, so make sure you be prepared for them not to allow you to take that in, so I'd check that. Unless you're staying on Disney charge you for parking. Apart from Disney Springs and the waterparks, all of the car parks, it costs $22 a day now. If you go to Magic Kingdom in the morning and think that you want to go to Hollywood Studios on the evening, you don't have to pay again. So if you pay for one set of parking, that lasts you for the day, but it is $22 a day. You can upgrade that to premium parking, so you get close to the entrance to the park, but that's $45 a day. So that could be quite expensive, but nice as a treat. The parking lots in all of them are huge, so take a picture of where your car park is. They're all themed to the typical park you're in, so it'll have a character and a number and a row. You'll forget it by the time you come out of the park, so definitely take a picture or write a note on your phone or something, so you can remember where you parked. because if you've ever been to Florida before, everybody rents the same cars and the same colour, so you'll never find it again. So all the car parks have trams as well to get you from your car to the front gate. Apart from the Magic Kingdom, obviously, where you then get another mode of transport into the actual park itself. Good for souvenirs. When you get to the park, get a map. We always get 2. Put one away and have the one for your day, because it'll get ruined. And they also have little schedules which tell you when your parades are, character meets, and your fireworks shows. So that is all worth picking those up. They're usually all at the front of the park, or sometimes they're on the gates when you go through the scanners when you're walking in. Most of the parks as well, you can do stroller hire and wheelchair hire. Not sure how much it is a day, but it is quite expensive. My tip would be, if you aren't going with a stroller and you need one, go to Walmart. You can pick one up for about $10–15 if you just want a cheap one. And also, if you're obviously with your kids, if you're looking on the menus and you see a little Mickey check symbol, that means they're the more nutritious meals for kids. I don't think Disney parks are that good for kids. It's all the same sort of stuff, chicken nuggets and things. So we tend to take bits in for our kids. Adult stuff, you seem to get a bigger variety. And one final thing with the kids, if it's just you two, you and your partner and the kids, someone's got to look after them, you can do child swap. So you have to go to the front of the ride with everyone in tow and just say, we're doing a child swap. They give you a pass, you queue for the ride. Once you get off, they give you a fast pass. That person then gets straight back on. So it is worth doing that. So that's it. That's my Disney World guide. I suppose there's still stacks of stuff that I could tell you. So if there's stuff that I've missed out or you want to know, leave a comment below, and I'll either reply to you or we'll think about doing another video. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week or the week after with a Universal video. See you soon.